For 39 days, he didn't say a single word. Not a whisper, not even a blink that suggested he was listening. Tyler Robinson sat in that courtroom, hands cuffed, staring straight ahead like a statue, like a ghost wearing an orange jumpsuit. And everyone that judged, the prosecutors, the grieving family in the gallery, they all waited. They all wondered, is he even conscious? Does he understand what he's accused of? Then, one morning in late October, something shifted. His lawyer stood up and asked the judge for permission. Robinson wanted new clothes. That's it. Not a retrial, not freedom. Just different clothes. And in that moment, something clicked for every investigator, every psychologist, every person watching this case unfold. Because when a man accused of murder, a man who has barely spoken since his arrest suddenly cares about how he looks, that changes everything. That's what we're unpacking today. And trust me, this case is far darker and far more calculated than you think. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button right now because this story is only getting started and you're not gonna wanna miss where this leads. Okay, let's back up. September 10th, 2025. Utah Valley University. A political commentator named Charlie Kirk was there for what seemed like just another campus event. He's the founder of Turning Point, USA. You've probably heard his name in culture war debates, political discussions, maybe on your social media feed. He was controversial. He had enemies. He had fans. That's just who he was. But that afternoon, none of that mattered. Within minutes of him taking the stage, shots fired. Chaos erupted. Police arrived, and by the next morning, 33 hours later, they'd arrested a 22-year-old college student named Tyler James Robinson. And here's the thing that gets under your skin. This wasn't random. This wasn't a crime of passion. The evidence that started pouring in suggested something far more deliberate. Prosecutors slapped him with aggravated murder, obstruction of justice, witness tampering, and unlawful discharge of a firearm. Each charge was specific. Each one told a story. DNA on the rifle's trigger and grip. His ballistics matching his weapon to the fatal shot. Confirmed. Digital messages recovered from his encrypted phone, threatening Kirk. Found and cataloged. On paper, it looked like a slam dunk. But then Robinson shut his mouth. And that's when things got weird. Imagine being in that courtroom. You're watching this guy who's accused of ending someone's life. The victim's family is right there, watching him too, and he does, nothing. For 39 days, Robinson didn't speak. No statement to detectives. No, not guilty plea. No acknowledgement that he even understood what the charges meant. He just sat there in that orange detention uniform, layered with an anti-suicide vestia. They had him under suicide watch, staring forward like he was somewhere else entirely. And here's what makes this so disturbing for everyone involved. Nobody knew why. Was he in shock? Having a mental breakdown? Was he deliberately refusing to engage? Or was he so detached from reality that he literally couldn't process what was happening? The family didn't know. The investigators didn't know. The media was going absolutely insane, trying to figure it out. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, cyber forensics teams were pulling apart his encrypted phone. And what they found was chilling. Deleted messages, recovered fragments. Conversations where he'd written things like, "I had enough of his hatred." Prosecutors saw that as motive. Clear, deliberate motive. But here's the kicker: this same guy who carefully deleted evidence, who covered his digital tracks, who planned this, he's sitting in court saying absolutely nothing. It was like watching two different versions of the same person. So fast forward to late October. The courtroom is quiet that morning. Same judge, same families, same cameras outside waiting for something to happen. Robinson walks in wearing that detention uniform with the anti-suicide vest, hands cuffed, looking straight ahead. It's basically the same scene that's happened for nearly 40 days. Then his attorney stands up. "Your Honor, my client is requesting new clothes." That's it. 6 words. But I'm telling you, the entire room stopped. Literally stopped breathing, because this isn't a lawyer's idea. This is Robinson asking for this. A man who has UNT spoken in over a month suddenly wants to change how he appears before the world. Now, you might think, okay, he wants to not look like a prisoner. So what? But forensic psychologists, defense attorneys, prosecutors, they all knew exactly what this meant. In a courtroom, appearances matter. Jurors see an orange jumpsuit, and they already see guilt. But civilian clothes, that's different. This is a human being instead of this is a monster. But here's what actually freaked everyone out. Robinson asked for this himself, not his lawyers. Him. That's not the behavior of someone completely disconnected from reality. That's someone who's suddenly aware that people are watching. That's someone who cares how he's perceived. So what does this actually tell us? Court psychologists have narrowed it down to two possibilities. And honestly, both are terrifying in different ways. Number one, he's actually waking up. After weeks of being totally detached, his mind is finally processing where he is, what he's done, what's coming. The request for clothes is the first sign that cognitive clarity is returning. He's rejoining reality, piece by piece. If that's true, investigators can expect more communication, more engagement, maybe even a confession or some explanation that might fill in the gaps. But here's scenario 2, and this is where it gets really dark. What if it's not him waking up? What if it's calculated? What if a man smart enough to delete digital evidence, methodical enough to delete contacts and cover his tracks, is now doing the same thing psychologically? If he's aware of how he looks, how the cameras frame him, how jurors perceive him, he's controlling the narrative. He's been silent to appear broken, and now he's slowly repositioning himself to appear normal. Relatable human. This is where prosecutors got really vocal. One of them literally said Robinson-esque quest was from a deliberate mind, a guy who understands exactly what is happening. Think about it. A truly confused, mentally broken person wouldn't care about clothes. They'd be in survival mode, but a man who's hyper-aware of his surroundings, a guy who's been strategically silent, he'd eventually want to adjust his appearance. And here's where it gets scary. What if both things are true? What if he is waking up to reality, and he's doing it strategically? What if the silence hasn't been complete detachment, but rather a calculated rest period, a moment to let emotions cool, evidence settle, and public opinion shift? Then, when the time is right, he comes back. Different. More controlled. More dangerous. Potentially. Because now he's not a broken person. He's someone who chose silence. Someone who understands the game being played around him. Now, while everyone's debating what his clothing request means, let's talk about what actually cannot be debated. The physical evidence, his DNA. It's on the trigger. It's on the grip. Not a little bit. TC's clear, undeniable biological evidence linking his hands to the weapon that killed Charlie Kirk. Ballistics experts matched trajectory. They matched velocity. They matched the bullet recovered from the scene to shells test fired from his rifle. This isn't guesswork. This is physics and mathematics. But here's where it gets even more damning. The digital trail. Cyber forensics teams recovered deleted messages from his encrypted phone using recovery methods that took weeks to process. And what they found was a pattern. Messages erased. Contacts delete. Timestamps showing deliberate effort to cover communication history. That's not an accident. That's conscious obstruction. One message in particular. I had enough of his hatred. Prosecutors saw that as premeditation, not just anger in the moment, but anger that's been building, planning, calculating. And here's what makes this case so psychologically complex. That's the exact opposite of the silent, emotionless guy sitting in the courtroom now. The person who deleted those messages was methodical, precise, strategic. The person asking for new clothes. He's quieter, more controlled, more aware of optics. Are they the same person at different stages? Or is Robinson showing investigators two different sides of himself? But here's what we need to remember while we're analyzing courtroom gestures and forensic evidence. Someone's son isn't coming home. Charlie Kirk's parents are grieving. His friends are grieving. And no matter what happens in that courtroom, no matter what clothes Robinson wears, no matter what he eventually says or doesn't say, doesn't change. For the family, every hearing is another reminder. Every news update is another wound being reopened. And every time the cameras focus on Robinson, they have to relive the moment their life changed forever. This case isn't just about justice in the legal sense. It's about a family searching for closure. And that's something no verdict can fully provide. This case also exposes something bigger, something that extends way beyond Tyler Robinson or even Charlie Kirk. We're living in a time where ideology becomes obsession, where anger toward someone's beliefs transforms into identity, where the inability to tolerate someone else's perspective can lead to violence. And that's the conversation we need to be having. Not just did he do it, but how do we get here? How does a 22-year-old college student become someone capable of this? That's the question that should be haunting us. So let's connect everything we know. You've got a college student who's been expressing hostility online, messages filled with resentment, a growing anger at a public figure he sees as harmful. He's organized. He's capable of deleting evidence. He's strategic enough to plan something like this. But in the courtroom, he's silent, controlled, almost absent. Until suddenly, he's not. Maybe the silence was his way of processing guilt, or denial, or both. Or maybe it was his strategy all along. Stay quiet. Let the system do its thing. Don't give anyone ammunition. Then, when the moment's right, start repositioning yourself. Start appearing more aware, more human, more sympathetic. Because here's the truth about criminal psychology. A person doesn't have to be insane to commit a calculated crime. They just have to compartmentalize. They have to separate the part of themselves that's capable of violence from the part that wants to appear normal, sympathetic, relatable. And that's what we don't know yet. Whether Robinson's request for new clothes is a sign of genuine psychological recovery or the next move in a calculated presentation. Either way, investigators and psychologists are watching closely. Because every gesture, every word, every appearance change now carries meaning. And that's what makes this case so haunting. We might never fully understand what's really going on inside his head. The trial will reveal facts, evidence, maybe even testimony. But the why, the true psychological motivations might stay locked inside him forever. This case is far from over. New evidence is still emerging. The trial is still unfolding, and every update adds another layer to this investigation. But here's what I want you to understand. This isn't just another true crime story to scroll past. This is a window into how ideology can become dangerous, how silence can speak volumes, how a single moment like asking for new clothes can shift an entire investigation. And I'm only scratching the surface here. There's so much more to unpack. New court documents, psychological profiles, evidence that hasn't been released to the public yet. So here's what I need from you. Subscribe, not just for this case, but because we're covering these stories with the depth and context they deserve. We're not just feeding you headlines, we're investigating. We're analyzing. We're asking the hard questions. Turn on notifications because when new evidence drops in this case, send it will you're going to want to know immediately. Jump into the comments and tell me, do you think Robinson's sudden awareness is genuine? Or is it strategic? What do you think happens next in this trial? The conversation matters. Because understanding cases like this, really understanding them, requires all of us thinking critically, asking questions, and refusing to accept simple explanations for complex crimes. This story is going to get darker before it gets resolved. And if you want to follow every twist, every revelation, every moment that changes how we see this case, you need to be subscribed. Because at its core, this case asks us one haunting question. At what point does silence stop being guilt and start being fear, shame, or cold calculation? And somewhere between Robinson's silence and his first request, the answer to that question might reveal everything. Stay tuned. This isn't over, and neither is our investigation. Subscribe now. Let's get to the truth. Together. Before you go, there's one detail about Robinson's encrypted phone that investigators haven't released to the public yet, something that might explain everything about why he stayed silent. We have sources. We're working on it. Next video, we break it open. Don't miss it.